Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've been on my own channel. Stacy's been doing a great job. We have some really news that you need to know. But guys, this news gets old. It's starting to happen faster and faster, more and more of really bad news. And we're not going to talk too much about the war, but just getting into it as we go through the articles we have, just think, how is the United States government going to fund 2 wars? How's that possible?
Yeah.
Without blowing up the currency?
Oh, Janet Yellen has come out and said that we can fund 2 wars, and looks like we may be doing 3.
They would lie when the truth would do better.
Yep.
We already know that. But thank you for being here. This is the Financial Prepper channel, and my name's Chris. This is Stacy. Let's get into it.
Yeah. By the way, it's so good to have you back. I've been trying to get him back.
I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've been up to at the end of the video.
He would literally have to take an hour to show everything that he has been up to. And you guys, the comments.
I'll show you one thing.
The comments are not coming through real clear, so I'm going to see if I can get on the computer as you start talking and see if I can. That's what happened the other night. The comments went off. Are you on the phone somewhere on it?
Nope.
Okay.
Not my fault.
All right, let's get with it. Let's go. What's going on?
You go first.
Well, I want to talk to you. So I did a video about this the other day. You want to talk about commercial real estate, primary real estate, or you want to talk about the AI first? Because I've done some of these videos, but I'd like to get your take on it.
Sure.
So
yeah, I can talk a little bit about real estate too. I've got some.
Okay, let's talk about real estate first. Commercial and residential real estate. Because one, I was talking about commercial. Loans are coming due like at the tune of $1.5 trillion at the end of next year. Now they just came out with that program. Remember I was telling you about that the government's going to come in and do these, quote, grants, and they're going to turn these commercial buildings into residential buildings, 15-minute cities. That's what you said when you heard it. You're like, there we go. I'd like your take on it.
The government doesn't have any, they are so far out of bounds. They're not supposed to do anything like that. Nothing. Think about what the government is supposed to do. They're not supposed to mess with the free market. They're not supposed to do any of that, and that's what they do constantly. And remember, anything the government touches, it gets broke. I mean, watch them build a highway, watch them do anything, get elected into Congress and stay there and vote their self raises. They could care less about the people. They only care about themselves. And a lot of times I like to refer to them as raccoons. What they don't eat, they crap on.
See,
but
I've missed his sayings.
it's nuts. Now they're messing in the housing market, and it's all going to be in the name. I'm sure this is in the name of green weeniism.
Oh, it was. They said in there, in the bill, it said it's going to help control the climate.
So they'll be able to take a group of us, people, the fringe, the people that know what's going on. That's their plan. They want to be able to take you and stick you in, in an old, like a remodeled hotel.
Yep.
And Big Brother will be there with all his cameras, and they'll know when you're coming and going. If you have a good credit score, you can use the transportation. If not, you'll be walking. They're doing this in China already. And Big Brother, the book, 1984.
Yep.
I've said this before. I'll say it again if you hadn't read it. I don't want to encourage anybody to read it. It's kind of an awful book. But they're using it as a manual. It was supposed to be a warning. It was after what happened in Russia in 1950. What was it?
You're talking about the war crime, or the prison wars?
Yeah. Gulag Archipelago.
Yeah, that's a hard book to read too, but read it.
The book was written right around that time, so it was fresh on his mind. And it is exactly what's coming out with all this AI stuff we're going to talk about.
Yep.
It's nuts. Now, we can keep going with the mortgage, but...
No, let's keep going. By the way, you
with the
guys,
houses.
Hit that like button for us, because say you're glad to have him back on, because I had to go pull him off of a job. He was doing a project, and I said, all right, you promised me you'd get on live with me today.
We had 46 braces made that didn't fit. We had customers coming to pick them up. Now, it wasn't our fault. It was in the line of things that have to happen.
So, all right, let's keep going. So what did you have printed that you want to talk about?
Okay, I'd like to talk about the strong economy. I'd like to talk about the housing prices, the housing market crash. Is that going to happen? Is it already happening? We sold our rental properties because, you know, I wasn't in them as good as the people were in 2008. That's what I desire. You know, I want to get them on pennies on the dollar, 10, 20 cents on the dollar. And that's what I think is going to happen eventually. But there's some complications with that theory, because I'll read you some of these facts. First off, the speaker came out and anyway, no, that's the wrong article. There is less demand for homes due to rising mortgage interest rates and lower affordability. All right, but there are also fewer sellers. So it's kind of it's a strange environment. It's not like last time.
Well, on the heels of
It
that,
kind of balances out the crash.
well, on the heels of that, so a lot of the sellers, and I've talked to them, they're not wanting to sell because if they sell, one, they do get a lot of money back. It's way overpriced, but then they've got to go find something else, and they're going to be paying too much. And I did a video about that the other day. They're literally going, when it corrects itself, they're going to have negative equity, and they're going to have a higher interest rate. So sellers are going, no, I'm not selling. Keep going.
And there's a lot of people that have these HELOCs
Yep.
that are barely making the interest payment. And, you know, what happens? What happens to them when they have to move? What happens when the money they pulled out of their house, and their house is not worth what it once was, when it was 100, you know, when it doubled in price, or at least 50%. A lot of places have, you know, Austin, Texas, almost
Idaho's
doubled.
huge right now. Let's talk about that personally.
Okay.
About what we're facing with it's public knowledge, so it's not like I'm telling something that someone doesn't know. My parents are in that situation. They took out a HELOC for a family member, and unfortunately, the family member is only paying interest, and that's what they can only afford right now. So, explain
Because
a little
it's
bit about
variable rate.
Yep.
I had a variable rate one time, and I was like, 911, pay it off right now.
Yep.
3 months, it was gone.
Yep.
We made like 3 interest payments, and, you know,
But we knew what we were getting into.
we knew what we were getting into. But what was it, $300 or $400 payment or something?
Went
The
to-
interest
so-
went to $1,500.
So they're only paying $100 a month at this point on the principal. It's a $190,000 HELOC loan. That means at this rate, it's a 10-year loan. They will never pay it off. Never. So you guys, when you guys do these loans, and I talk about this all the time, if you want to do them, but know what you're getting into. You've got to run the numbers. Keep going. But we're personally experiencing that with my parents.
There's going to be a lot of people that lose everything they have, including where they live. Mm-hmm. I don't know when. I figure the government will do this predatory lending like they did with the SBAs and tell you don't have to pay for 30 months or something, and then all that interest piles up. Now, that's going on right now. If you got an SBA loan and you've been paying the minimum, there's interest piled up on the back end that you'll never get paid off. It's crooked.
It's fine
It's not
print.
what they say, and it's just more of the same. Home prices will trend down in the winter, is what I have wrote down, and because they always do, right?
Typically, it
Winter
seems
time's
like,
just, you know, you sell houses. Stacy's a real estate agent, among many other things.
and a wife.
And a awesome wife.
No,
and a great cook.
I think sometimes when kids go back to school, and then you have the holidays, so a lot of people get focused on, you know, buying Christmas gifts, and they're not really looking a whole lot at purchasing homes. Matter of fact, they're probably maxing out their credit cards, which I just did a search the other day, and most people have not even paid off their credit cards from last Christmas. So credit card debt is also
I
at an
got
all-time
something
high.
about that in just a second. We'll get to the credit card. Millennials, they held the majority of the credit card debt. So you put that with the winter season, people not usually buying home. You put that with a weakening consumer, right? Mm-hmm. And higher interest rates. And over 1 trillion in credit card debt. People are using credit cards to put fuel in their vehicle. Yep. They're using credit cards to eat and survive. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to grasp that. That makes me feel a little bit sick, because that is a hole that the government will bail you out of, and then you will be a slave to them. That's their plan. Their plan is to just drag everybody down and kick them while they're down, and then you have to do what I say because, well, we own you.
And you will be happy.
Yeah, it's okay though, but you're going to own nothing, and you'll be happy about it. I got news for you, big brother. I've already owned nothing, and I wasn't very happy. So when the Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates and buying bonds again, home prices will probably skyrocket again. So I'm hoping there's a lull there. My goal is to own 100 doors, and we were well on our way. It was clicking along, never missed a rent, never had an issue with them. I learned how to vet them. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that too. It's awesome. It just hasn't happened yet. We're just waiting. We're patiently waiting, and we're going to be there because if we don't buy them, I'm talking about us, the community. If we don't buy these properties, the government's going to end up with them. That's the very last thing that I want. They're already too big. They got their hands where they shouldn't be, and that's the plan. But going back to the
credit cards
on the millennials, I thought this was really good.
So, and at top of that, we got the 1.5 trillion coming up with commercial loans too. And you guys, they're due. And from one of the banks, they say they're not going to renew them. You guys, I mean, insurance companies are closing their doors even.
So I thought I had some stats, but it's just millennials have the highest average credit card debt. So, I mean, I kind of figured that. But that's the way they were brought up, right? That's the environment they live in.
Yep, everybody's...
pay for it later. Use it now. Instant gratification. That's most everybody, actually.
Speaking of all that, and talking about residential and loans and all this kind of stuff and credit cards and all that, there's becoming an issue with the cars. Have you heard that? Car companies are literally getting phone calls from buyers saying, can you take my car back? Because they can't afford it. It's gone up like 7%, car notes have. They can't afford it. And interestingly enough, Taylor, by the way, thanks for emailing me. He used to work for a bank, went back to that bank the other day and was talking to him. And used to, you banks will give you like a 90-day grace period if you don't pay. They're seeing what's coming, and they've reduced it to 60 days now. If you're 60 days late, they're coming after you. He said they even see what's coming. Car companies are saying, I can't take your car back. If I do, that's repossession. And there's articles about this actually on the internet where car companies are saying in the last about, say, week or so, that literally buyers are calling and say, can you take my car back? I can't afford the note.
Household debt, credit delinquencies, credit card balances, and auto loans. They're all getting worse on delinquencies. Yep. This is all, guys, we saw this coming. We've been talking about it forever. It's just getting super. It
sounds like a broken record.
I know. It's like, man, I've said that before. It's actually happening, but it's so slow. It's hard to say it every day. Now, I thought this was interesting. Check this out. And hit the like button if this resonates with you, or if you can. Sometimes these analogies help me understand things. The average worker needs to work 55% more hours today to afford the same level of living expenses compared to 1985. How is anybody going to work 55% more?
Impossible. I saw a cartoon character the other day that said more jobs have been added, and the lady was standing at the checkout counter, and she had a hat on where she was working. She said, yep, I got a second job and a third job. She said, that is the jobs that's been added. She said, and I still can't make my bills.
So at the end of this, I do want to say, don't feel left out. If you see the economy booming and everybody's buying houses and new cars and all this stuff, don't fall for it. Don't look at the Joneses. Don't pay attention to them. This is not financial advice. This is just sound advice, okay? This is just something that I've noticed around me. And I've had this, and you said it yesterday, I kind of look at things way out.
You do.
Like the way I set things up is going to help me 5 or 10 years down the road.
He sees the big picture on a lot of things.
She's right now the detail person. I'm not. But if we can just hold off, and I said this one time, and Jack got a good laugh out of it. I said, cut your wants drastically. And he was like, I knew I came here for some reason. It doesn't sound like fun, but neither is austerity. And that's what the American people are about to see. The reason I have been doing the improvements on this property is because I feel that like the plastic pipe that I had to buy to put in the levee of the pond, the spillway was washing out, okay? There's no way I was gonna get another season out of it without having to do something major. So I had to put a pipe in the levee. 24-inch plastic pipe is $30 a foot. Yeah, $900 a joint. So because when economies collapse, go back to Germany, go back to Venezuela, look at what's happening today. The prices of things, actual physical goods, concrete, iron. In Germany, they related the book When Money Dies, related iron to the same as gold because it was so precious and hard to come by and expensive.
Yep.
So that's why I've taken a break off of YouTube, and I've still been doing the welding videos because I have to do that anyway. You know, that's kind of part of it. So I get those, but I've got a lifetime supply of work done, a lifetime's worth of work done
Yes.
to this property in about 2 months, a month and a half.
Yes.
I've been working on it from daylight till dark, but I feel this pressure to get ready. You know, I don't know for what. I can't tell you for what, because we're prepped. We've been prepping. We have a prepping channel. We do everything we say. This machine behind me is part of it. I want to be able to make any tool, any part, anything I want to be able to make with it. Plasma table, the milling machine, the bandsaws.
I want you to
the
show them
welding
that
machines.
plasma table too, before it's over.
I can. I'll actually show you some of the 3D CAD, one of the 3 CADs that I'm learning right now. But the 3D CAD's pretty cool. It helps me to draw things out. I have to. Sometimes I want to show Stacy, and she's like, I don't need it drawn out. I got to draw it for me. It's not for you. I have to kind of think through it. It helps me not make mistakes, so I can't wait to show that. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's keep going. What else happened in Germany?
Well, you've got
They experienced a significant devaluation of their currency. This is inevitable. This is inevitable here.
So did Russia, and just see that. So is Japan right now, you guys. They're seeing it. So is other countries right now. They're seeing it. Japan right now is actually facing I think it's been the lowest valued in how many years? They've just come out and they're fighting that as hard as they can. Yeah.
Well, during their devaluation of the currency, what happened? Prices skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. If that's not what's going on. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case for new vehicles. I don't think it's going to be the case for, it will eventually, everything will go up. But in the short term, I think a lot of things that people don't actually need are going to come down. The things that we need the most, it's just like what happened in the pandemic. You remember that? Yep. It was like everything that we actually needed went crazy high, and the things you didn't really need kind of stayed the same.
Well, remember that lady I was talking to? I've talked to 2 grocery stores now, people, and they have said they've taken out higher end products and they're putting in value brands and all that kind of stuff. We were talking about that because people are not buying the higher end certain things
They're
like
buying
that.
Sam's Club.
Yep.
They're buying
the necessities, the luxury stuff has gone out. Yep, that's what they're doing right now. I've talked to several different grocery store managers, and that's exactly what they're seeing.
Okay, look. So whenever I hear something 3 times, when you're going through life and somebody calls me and asks, hey, do you have any work? Another welding shop called me and said, hey, do you have any work? I was like, yeah, I got some, but I don't know where more is. Well, I'm okay right now. And he's like, all right, well, if you see any, let me know. We've been doing this. Another guy reached out to me, and he said his shop's nowhere near where it needs to be. On the welding channel, I've had several people ask for work, but I don't know them personally. This is 3 people that I know personally. And one guy owns a humongous construction company, has for decades, has I don't know how many employees, but a bunch. And he said he is probably going to have to lay off every person he's got. He would love to sell his equipment right now, but he just can't. You know, I guess they've got to have it for whatever. You know, he sees it coming too. He doesn't follow the channel, I don't think. But when I was listening to him speak, I was like, man, it's happening. It's starting to happen. People around me are starting to look for work, and that is not a good sign. Fortunately for me, I'm doing some green weenie type stuff in the oil field. The stuff I'm building kind of, you know, that's who's going to get the money. The green weenies, and the government pushes this poppycock of climate change. That's where the money flows. Yep. So, you know, that's where you got to go. You got to go where the money's going.
Yep. Well, just like these commercials, that's what they're. I was talking the other day. I was like, who are going to actually get these grants? It's going to be the green weenie, BlackRock, Blackstone, things like that. Their credit scores, they're going to ESG credit score and all that. They'll be the ones to get it. You got to go.
They're getting in line. They're getting in line with the greenies. It's really sad.
It is.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to end well. It's going to end when God comes back. And whether you believe in him or not, you're going to get to talk to him one way or another. But it's going to end, our freedom will end when this AI takes over, and it starts, what was it, crime?
Forecasting.
Crime forecasting.
Yes, so you guys, go ahead.
It was just like the book 1984. Exactly. It's a playbook. It's their manual. They're reading it going, oh, they did this. You know.
That's that movie, too.
Can AI do that, really? Yeah, set it up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts. Sorry, I drank too much coffee.
It's so good to be with you again. No, it's like that Minority Report movie that you guys I was talking about. This is 2 articles that I've gotten off the website of the White House website. These are executive orders that they've done, and we talked about this the other day, for artificial intelligence. And one of the things I told you guys is they are going to forecast crime. They're going to use AI to forecast crime. If that's not scary as heck, I don't know what is. But on a fun note, you guys, I wish I could take you around. Maybe I will when Chris is working one day and just show you all the different things that Chris has been doing.
I would take you around the property right now, but it is so muddy.
It is so muddy.
Oh, man, you can't even get a golf cart over there.
But it is so beautiful. And it's literally, as a matter of fact, if you came to our property 2 months ago and you came again today, you probably wouldn't hardly recognize it. That's how much it's changed. Like you said, he's been working from daylight to dark. But this is one of the cool things that he's done.
I'm going to turn this light off. It's got a little glare.
I want to go get that horse thing again, too, while you're doing that.
So this is some 3D stuff that I'm working on. And this is actually a culvert. This is going to go around my culvert because the bank's washing out. And these green pieces of pipe are already in the concrete. Those collars are going to hold the fish strainer. See, when it rains real bad, we get a ton of water. And you'll lose your fish. I know that for sure because my pond got stocked by my neighbor's pond. It just washed right out of his and into mine. So this will have a screen attachment that slides over the pipe. It'll have a basket under it so I can drive up to it with the tractor, grab it with the forks. I don't have the basket drawn yet. Like I said, I'm just starting this 3D drawing. But you'll be able to pick it up, and all the trash that gets gathered around the culvert will lift out of the pond. You go dump it in the burn pit of the woods. And I thought that would be, because as you grow a homestead, I'm going to make a video about this. I'm going to make a video about land clearing, the important things that I've learned. You want to make it as manageable as possible, as easy to maintain as possible, because I do not have a lot of time to, just like this. So I would have to crawl down in the pond with some mud boots on and dig out all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it one time. I like to do things once. Grab it with the tractor, dump it, put it back on there, and then go do whatever I'm supposed to be doing. I did build, I want to show you Stacy's
arbor.
That's her arbor.
Grape arbor.
I'm going to cut those parts out with the plasma. It's hard to run this thing backwards. That'll be, and you can flip it over and you can see the brace on the bottom. But this is where my time's been going. I don't see the brace. It's too hard to look at like this. There it is. That'll be cut out on the plasma table, and I was thinking, I was like, well, I have all the measurements. I could sell it as a kit. Just a small kit that you buy, and you buy the boards and saw them in 8-foot lengths and bolt it together. Like you could throw it up in a few hours. It's pretty neat.
I showed this in the other video, but this is the other thing he did for someone else the other day. He drew it on his pad.
And this is all new to me, guys, and I do want to talk to you a little bit about being a tech tard. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that I was a pipe fabricator. That's how I got through life. That's how I was able to create a money train to invest in everything that you guys know about, rental properties and businesses and everything else.
Precious metals and different things.
Precious metals. I always kept it really simple. I always, when it came to tech stuff, I treated it like cat poop. It's like, go up there with it. I'm not messing with that, whatever. Now it's biting me in the butt. I'm working on it until my eyes shut at night. I'm learning how to read code, G code, take a DFX file and go to G code and update firmware and all this stuff. I've been on the phone with Lincoln for 2 hours. It's been crazy. It's all blessings, and it's a necessity. Having these tools to build any kind of implement, any kind of part, any kind of anything, I feel led to do that, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And I've probably been working on it a little too hard.
Well, it's a sacrifice we've made. We've actually missed 2 trips recently because of this. We were supposed to go to the event in Vegas. We were supposed to go to a camping trip. And instead, we had 2 dump trucks going, a trackhoe going, a bulldozer, a tractor, Jose running around in the golf cart, and we've chosen to make that
the welding
sacrifice.
business is still going while this is going on.
Yes.
And
I'm still working. And so we've chosen to make that sacrifice, though, and it's paying off. But you have been working. And that's when you guys are asking, where's Chris? Where's Chris? I've tried to do a video to kind of tell you.
I haven't worked out in 2.5 months.
No, he hasn't.
I have. It has been can to can't every day.
Yep.
But the good news is the dirt work's over. All I have to do now is scratch the property and get some grass growing to keep it from eroding. That's a big deal. If you have hilly property and crawfish ground, it just wants to leave immediately. But that's just a few things I wanted to show you.
Before we end, I'd like you to take them and just show them the plasma table. Can you take that over there?
Yeah.
And you guys, by the way, I cannot see the comments. So as soon as the video is over, I will go back.
Yeah, her comments are blurry, and it's not my fault.
No, it's not. I must have screwed something up. But I was going to let you take because this is one of the things that we've done lately. It's really cool.
All right.
You can see the rocket stove.
Yeah, that baby's Jenna. Let me take you off here. You guys haven't seen the rocket stove. If you have a shop, the rocket stove is awesome. So that's the pellet hopper. That's the used motor oil. And the pellets come down the hopper. There's the on-off switch right here. And the pellets come down here. And it burns like a rocket. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's really chiefing, sucking some wind. It's not cold enough to run the oil just yet. I'm changing some lights last night. Had some lights go out. That's the plasma table, and it's not on right now, but everything's a wreck. I've had to move stuff around. But that is what we've been up to, a little of it. I'd like to show them what's going on around the orchard. That's some parts we're trying to let warm up. But everything is
I think that's for
kind
another
of a
video.
wreck. But that's it, guys. Have an awesome day. Thank you for being here. You guys are great.
Hit that like button for us.
Later.